Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be decoding few of the abbreviations and the terms that are used in NHS and outside of NHS. If you're new to my channel, then welcome to my channel. I'm Monisha Mishra. I did my MBBS from India in the year of 2018. I decided to give PLAB exams and I moved to UK. I'm currently a core trainee, that is CT1 in psychiatry in London. Without wasting any more time, let's get into this video. When you newly start working in NHS, it can be quite daunting and confusing when you hear all these terms and all of these grades, and you can feel quite overwhelmed, and I quite understand that. I couldn't understand half the terminologies that we use. So today I'm going to be decoding all of these. Hopefully by the end of the video you would have figured out what these terminologies are, and if you're applying for jobs on NHS jobs, then you would understand what you're applying for. Basically, from a doctor's title you can very well figure out their grade and the specialty they are in. For example, I'm a CT1 psychiatry. That means I'm a core trainee year 1 and I'm in the specialty psychiatry. Okay, so before I get into this video, I will be drawing parallels with the Indian healthcare system because that's where I did my MBBS from. So it's a little bit familiar for you guys and to understand better how the grading system works in the UK. So the career progression after medical school works this way. So you have got your medical school, and after your medical school you've got 2 years of foundation training, that is FY1 and FY2. You have your FY1 equivalent in your home country. Say example in India, which we call the 1-year compulsory rotatory internship, is equivalent to FY1 here. And after FY1 you also have FY2. Only when you complete both of those together, after that only you can say that you've completed your foundation training. After your foundation training you get into core training. So basically core training can be CT1, or it can be GPST1, or it can be called IMT1, or it can be called ST1, which is the specialty training one. These are all the names given to it. Basically it means first year of your core training. After CT1 you go on to CT2, which is again GPST2, IMT2, or specialty trainee 2. Then you go on to your third year, which is the ST3, which is the specialty trainee 3. After that you've got ST4, ST5, ST6, ST7, and then you become a consultant. I shall explain further down in the video how you progress after what, but this is the overall flowchart of how it works from CT1 to basically ST7, and then you become a consultant. Like I said, after your medical school you've got your FY1 and FY2, which is your foundation year 1 and foundation year 2. In India, how we've got 12 months of compulsory rotatory internship where we're rotated through all the departments in your 12 months. It's quite different over here. You do rotations of 4 months, so that is basically 3 rotations per year. So that means you would have done a total of 6 rotations in your 2 years of foundation training. Alright, before I get on to what happens after foundation training, I'll be using these terms a lot in the video called trainee and a non-trainee. What is a trainee and a non-trainee? This is something you will hear a lot while you're in NHS. A trainee is somebody who has entered specialty training of their choice and has career progression. Basically, a non-trainee is the right opposite of a trainee. That means you're a doctor who is not in a training program and you've got jobs equivalent to, say, you would be called an FY2 equivalent or a CT equivalent or a ST equivalent. Basically, you do not have a training pathway. Sometimes while you're in NHS, you will also hear the term SHO a lot. SHO stands for Senior House Officer. The SHO is a term that used to be used a lot in the olden days. So basically you are an equivalent of a trainee doctor, say an FY2 equivalent or a core trainee equivalent or a specialty trainee equivalent, but mind you, you are not in a training post, you're a non-trainee, so you would be called an SHO or a Senior House Officer. Then come the registrars. So basically registrars are senior to SHOs. They have much more experience, they have much more responsibility, they have much more clinical experience, and they have a lot of more clinical responsibilities. They are also in charge of the hospital outside of work hours. That would be probably evening on calls or night shifts or on weekends. So they would be the covering senior most doctor. That's the registrar. So other than having a lot more clinical responsibilities, they also would have completed their Royal College exams, say MRCS or MRCP or MRCGP or MRC Psych. So they would have cleared all parts, and then would they be called the registrar after completing the training. Okay, so next comes specialty training. I'm going to draw a parallel again with India. So in India, after you completed your MBBS and your 1 year of compulsory rotatory internship, so that would add up to say 5.5 years, then you would apply for your post-graduation. So in between your MBBS and your post-graduation, say you work as a house officer or you work as a JR or a junior resident, and then you do your PG, how it's called in India, post-graduation, which is of 3 years only, like straight up 3 years, and then you're called a consultant. It doesn't work that way here. So after you've done your MBBS, you do your 2 years of foundation training, then you do your 3 years of core training or however long it is in each specialty, and then you apply for specialty specialty training. So say for example, I'm doing psychiatry. So after my 3 years of core training, I would need to apply for specialty training. I would specialize something in psychiatry. Say I would specialize in either in adult psychiatry or old age psychiatry or CAMS, which is child and adolescent mental health, or it would be learning disability or eating disorders or perinatal psychiatry or forensic psychiatry. So I have like varied choices and I need to specialize in something before I become a consultant. You don't become a consultant in 3 years over here. You need to specialize, something that in India is not mandatory. It's a choice for you. You could, if you want to super specialize or not super specialize. Say here, after you finish your IMT, that is your medical training, core trainee who is in medicine, then they would apply for specialty training, say in cardiology or renal or gastro or respiratory. In a similar way, for a GP, which is a general practitioner, GP training, they would have the 3 years of GP training and then they would have to give the Royal College exams, which is the MRC GP, and after that they would be called a GP, which is a general practitioner, or a GP consultant. So the only training which lasts for 3 years after your MBBS and 2 years of foundation training would be GP. That is the only thing that's for 3 years. Okay, so the next term you would hear a lot in a lot of trusts would be SAS. So SAS doctors are staff grade doctors, associate specialist doctors, or specialty doctors. So these are doctors who've got 3 or 4 years of experience after their post-graduation in their chosen specialty. So they are not consultants because they haven't trained over here in this country. They have trained outside of UK and they've cleared the Royal College exams and they have come in. They are called the SAS doctors. Sometimes in few trusts, few of the SAS doctors could be having their own clinics as well. They could be running their own clinics. They could be also having their own theatre list or running their own theatre list, but they wouldn't be called a consultant. But there are pathways in which a SAS doctor, that is somebody who's trained outside of UK, given Royal College exams and come in, can become a consultant, and that is through the CSER pathway. So basically the CSER pathway is quite a long, cumbersome pathway for you to be called a consultant. If you've trained outside of UK, you will have to show a lot of paperwork, show that you are equivalent to somebody who's trained here in the UK. Basically, you'll have to show that you're as competent as a doctor who's trained here. I exactly don't know what the paperwork is. This is from personal experience. My previous consultant, who was one of the doctors who would sign off someone for CSER pathway, told me that the documents that they submit, I mean the pages, they run in thousands, and I'm not kidding about it. And honestly speaking, I have also come across a lot of Indian doctors who are SAS doctors and are in UK, and they're quite happy being a SAS doctor and not becoming a consultant here. But anyway, if you are somebody who is going for CSER pathway or is planning to become a SAS doctor here, I will leave a link down below in my description box. Finally, on top of the leaderboard are the consultants. So after your core training and after clearing your Royal College exams, you would have to go into specialty training, which lasts from 3 to 4 years, varying on which specialty it is. After that, you would be called a consultant. Few other terminologies that you would be hearing around in UK would be RMO. So RMO is a resident medical officer. It could be somebody from the level of an SHO to somebody who is a registrar, and they work in private services. Then you would hear the term academic doctors. So academic doctors are basically titles given to clinical fellows, say junior clinical fellow or senior clinical fellow, professor, academic lecturers. So they could be again ranging from a SHO to a registrar. Other than clinical duties, they also have other responsibilities like in teaching and in research. Then you would come across something called FY2 standalone or LAT. LAT is locum appointment for training. So like I mentioned, the foundation training in UK lasts for 2 years. If you've completed your mandatory 1-year internship back in your home country, say in India, that is only equivalent to FY1 over here. So then you could be offered a job, say an FY2 standalone post, which is used to fill the rota gaps over here in UK. And now a little bit about my journey. I did my medical school, that is MBBS, back home from India. I finished my 4.5 years of MBBS. Then I did 1 year of compulsory rotatory internship, after which I was given my license. I'm a licensed doctor in India as well. After that, I decided to give my PLAB exam. So I appeared for my PLAB exams, PLAB 1 and PLAB 2. If you're somebody who wants to know more about PLAB, I'll link up the card above here. You can watch that video. Honestly, I've given all the information up to date, including the pandemic updates by GMC. So you can watch the video over here. I gave my PLAB exams, and after PLAB exams, I moved to UK. I worked for a year in a non-training post as a junior clinical fellow in South India. While I was there, within 6 months into the job, I applied for training post with zero hopes. I applied for my training post and I got into core training in psychiatry in London. So I'm currently a CT1, that's a core trainee year 1 in psychiatry in Southwest London and St. George's Mental Health Trust. Yeah, so that's my journey. I will make further videos about how I got into training, about the MSRA exams that you need to give for getting into core training, and the interview that you need to crack before getting mashed into a program. I will make videos along the line about all of these things. This was strictly about all the job titles that I used here in UK. I hope you've enjoyed this video. More than enjoyed, I hope this video was informative. If it was, then do give it a big thumbs up and do comment down below if you have any other queries or any other doubts regarding job titles or training or non-training. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, then please do. I've crossed 500 subscribers. I can't freaking believe it. I'm hoping I can reach 1000 before this year ends. So please help me do that. Yeah, that's all. I think this is the end of the video. I hope you're looking after yourself and your loved ones, and take care. And I know today's not a Sunday, but I missed out last week, so I thought I might as well make a video midweek. Yeah, that's the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Mwah.